Sometimes we think learning a language means attending fancy schools or spending tons of money on tutors, but that's not true at all. I'm living proof of that. Here's the thing. I learned English by myself for free, and I've reached a point where I can communicate fluently, express myself, and feel comfortable speaking in a language that's not my own. And today I want to share how I did it with you. No secrets, just real practical steps. I didn't attend an international school, and my bachelor's degree was done entirely in my first language. In my country, the education system teaches us English up to about CFR A2, and after that, it's up to us. I've never taken full time classes, though I did take a short 1 month course at an institution, which was great but short. After that, I had personal teachers for about 5 sessions to help me prepare for the IELTS exam, which was mainly about how the test works. Spoiler alert, I didn't take the IELTS exam, and I ended up going for the TOEFL instead. Long story. If you're curious about the differences and my experience, let me know in the comments section and I'll make a whole video about it. 1. Imitation. Fake it till you make it. I've always been a fan of this approach when I was a beginner and even now. I imitate everything. The key to learning a language is immersion, and one of the most effective ways to immerse yourself is through imitation. But I'm not just talking about simple shadowing, though that's super useful. I'm talking about watching, listening, and soaking in everything. For me, it has started with a TV series, The Vampire Diaries. I know, it's a teen show, but I loved it. I watched the entire series at least 3 times. Not because I was obsessed with the plot. Okay, maybe a little. I loved it. But because it became a tool for learning English. Now, I'm not saying you to watch The Vampire Diaries 3 times. Pick something you love, a TV show, a documentary, a podcast, something that interests you, because trust me, if you're bored, you won't learn. Here's how I practiced imitation. There are 3 methods of shadowing that I used. First, I hear a few words, pause, and repeat. This helps break sentence into bite-sized pieces. Then I'd listen to a full sentence and try to repeat it, paying attention to pronunciation, mouth movements, sentence structures, and intonation. It wasn't just about the words, it was about the feeling behind the sentence. The third way, which is a bit more advanced, is listening to 2 or 3 sentences, pausing, and then saying them in my own words. This activated my vocabulary, my sentence building skills, and my ability to express my thoughts. And it wasn't perfect at first, but it worked over time. Learning how to imitate also pushed me to improve my vocabulary. You need words to be able to say things. So, I'm planning to make a whole video on how to learn and remember vocabulary effectively. So, stay tuned if you're interested. 2. TBLT, Task Based Language Learning. This method has been with me from the beginning. Task based learning isn't as complicated as it sounds. It's simply doing your daily task in your target language. When I worked out, I used English workout videos. When I cooked, I searched for recipes and made my grocery list in English. Even meditation, I listened to English guided meditation files. It's about taking what you already do in your day to day life and making it a language learning experience. Let's say you're planting something in your balcony, or crocheting. Why not search for instructions in English? It's win win because you're doing something you love while also practicing the language. 3. Make learning fun. This is probably the most important point. If learning isn't fun, you won't stick with it. I read a lot about how travel is great for language, and yeah, sure, spending a month in an English speaking country could be helpful, but who can afford that? Seriously, I'm kidding. But the truth is, you don't need to travel to immerse yourself in a language. Instead, I turn my hobbies into language learning opportunities. I'm a huge fan of anime, so I started watching it with English dubs. I also love listening to audiobooks when I'm doing chores, so I started listening to them in English. 4. Learn in your area of expertise. My background is in art. I studied art at university. When I started to learn English, I used that to my advantage. I began learning art history in English, reading English resources, and even attending free online classes about art. All in English. I also wanted to stay up to date in my field, so I subscribed to English newsletter and checked out English language news related to arts. Slowly but surely, I transitioned from learning English to learning everything in English. You can do the same, whatever your field, be it science, business, or any area. There are tons of free resources available in English. 5. Find good learning resources for grammar. Of course, you can't neglect the basics, and grammar is one of those things you can't avoid. But I didn't go crazy buying tons of grammar books. I found one series that worked for me. American English File. I used it from the starter level all the way to volume 5. Now, I didn't study every single page of every single book. I focused on what I needed most, especially the grammar pages. This series covers about 10 pages of grammar per volume, which is really all you need. If you're looking for something comprehensive but manageable, I highly recommend these books. You can study grammar focusing on the most important aspects and still make great progress. 6. Motivation. Find your why. At the end of the day, the biggest thing that will keep you going is motivation. You need a strong why to push through the difficult time. For me, learning English opened up a world of opportunities. It expanded my knowledge, let me read books and watch movies without subtitle, and most importantly, allowed me to connect with people from all over the world. That excites me. Learning English has been incredibly rewarding, but I wouldn't have made it this far if I didn't have a clear reason to continue. So, what's your why? Why do you want to learn English? Think about it and write it in the comment section. If you can answer that question, you'll find the way to make it happen. And that's how I learned English by myself for free, and how you can do it too. It takes time, dedication, and most of all, persistence. But if I can do it, so can you. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to let me know in the comments if there is anything else you'd like me to cover, maybe a deep dive into the difference between IELTS and TOEFL. I don't know. I've got the stories to tell.